performance he had.
I'm not even picking no games to play.
Yeah, I'm picking them to lose every week. I want them to keep proving me wrong. I'm picking them to lose the rest of the season.
Too funny. Well, Will Lutz, man, great game from the kid. I was surprised how well he performed in that game, but he kept us right there with the Seahawks whenever we could not convert those red zone opportunities. And that 53-yarder by Lutz was
beautiful,
really, really on point. You know, that was a true kick. So he's the NFL Special Teams Player of the Week. Get this, his second already
in a row
this season. Wow,
that's good.
Yeah,
look at him.
Diva.
NFL Special
It's a
Teams
diva.
Player of the Week.
Diva.
It's a diva.
Look who popped in.
How you doing, Diva?
You know, upright and above ground.
All right.
That's the way to be.
All right.
That's my baby.
Oh, Lord. Well, it's good to hear your voice, Diva. Man.
Good to hear your voice.
Hey, let me say this, Diva, because I know you also reiterated. We were just talking about Jimmy a second ago. You reiterated on Facebook that he didn't want to leave. We were just talking about how he did not at least talk to a couple of those guys. Well, quite a few of those guys who he still had relationships with the Saints, and did not answer any interviews. How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, they said that they had actually posted on NFL.com all the past week as far as media and like people that he was still friends with on the team here. He stopped talking to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The week before the game, he stopped communicating with everybody, and I did hear that as far as media coming up to the game, he did not answer any questions. He did not talk to anybody. And then, you know, the video got posted of him leaving, and he still didn't answer any questions or talk to anybody. And at the end of the day, in the heart of hearts, I remember I said that a long time ago when he left. When he first started blowing up and everything got crazy and everybody was a Jimmy Graham fan, they interviewed him and they asked him if he ever had to go anywhere else. It was some way it was questioned or worded to him while in an ESPN interview, and he said that he would retire if he ever had to leave for playing with Drew Brees. He would retire, but of course, you know, hey, once them checks start coming in and you start buying all this stuff, and you know you need to keep up a lifestyle. Yeah, that really didn't happen. So he really didn't have a choice. He got traded, but still, again, he's got to work towards whatever contract was put out there. But I guess coming back, I wouldn't necessarily say he was bitter. I feel like he came back and he was more or less, he did come back with a chip to play with a chip on his shoulder. But at the same time, I think he was kind of playing a little hurt because he really didn't want to leave. Even though he may have been a locker room distraction and at the end of the day, he wanted to be paid like a wide receiver, I don't think he ever really wanted to leave here. So,
I agree. I agree.
He never wanted to leave. Yeah.
I mean, to be able to get that phone call one day from the coach, say, "Oh yeah, Jimmy, we traded you," and you like what? And you can't really believe it. So I can understand that point, but we're talking about almost 2 seasons removed.
No, they're 2 seasons removed, but eventually you're gonna have to cross paths again. That's just like if you date somebody and you break up with them. You can try to avoid people as much as you want to. Eventually, at some point in time, when you least expect it, you're gonna have to cross paths with that person. So, and that's how the NFL is. Yeah. Eventually, you're gonna have to play that team.
Yeah.
You would think that 2 years later, you probably gotten over it and you made a life for you in your new environment and so on and so forth. But then, as soon as it's thrown in your face, everything you felt in that instant, however mad you were, and all those emotions and all those feelings are gonna come back. So that's what I'm guessing that he felt like. Yeah, he felt like the person that broke up with somebody, and they got the bad. They never got any closure to it.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it was nice to see that there was a picture that was taken. That I guess he was trying to just hustle and like bypass everybody. But they someone had posted it on, and I can't remember the guy's name. Someone had posted it on Twitter, and then the picture did make it to Facebook and the Instagram, and I think Roman Harper retweeted it. But they said Roman Harper actually chased him down, and somebody did get a picture of them two hugging after the game.
Okay.
Well,
good.
I'll say this, man. This is what's really going on. Jimmy Graham has never, ever, ever been on the winning end of a Saints in Seahawks game. And that's why he was crying.
I don't think that's a way to think of it, but I don't think that. Well,
that's
you
a
really
great point,
think about it,
that's a
great
very
point.
good point. Sure is.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
That's a great point.
So he's a little butthurt. He's a little butthurt right now.
Oh.
Well, he was butthurt. He was butthurt the last time we had to play him, and they called him out. Yeah, he was butthurt then. And now that I think about it, you could think about it that way too. But then again, while you played in this dome, you walked on. You know what I'm saying? You played with about 40% of the lineup or whatever. You gonna have some little feelings, even if y'all did stay cool afterwards. And you still gonna come back with some feelings. All that stuff gonna come back, and if he did the best thing. Like he did better than a woman would do, because if we break up with you and you come and try to say whatever, we just gonna unleash on you. So he did do the thing that I would expect. He was a bigger person in the situation, because he could have just he could have wilded out, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And some people are gonna take him by not speaking. Some people are gonna take it by not speaking, and he's still acting a certain kind of way. But no, actually, that's probably the best thing. That's probably the best thing he could have done.
Okay.
And the Saints did a great job defensively on him too, and he might also have been mad because Saints did a great job defensively on him, because he was not a factor in that game at all.
Yeah, he probably was upset because he was like, I still do. I was angry a little bit when he left, and they were like he was being a problem. I was upset too, but at the end of the day, for the years that he was here, it's like I always say that when people leave and go elsewhere, to me, once a Saint, you always a Saint. You wish them the best, wherever they go and everything, but it is what it is. And, that's the luck to him. That's all you can see, root for him and hoping that he stays healthy and gets to finish out the season.
Yeah. Guys, you know what? When I saw him leaving the field and the police, not the police, but that reporter was trying to get him to talk, what is going on?
I was staring about the professor. Go ahead.
All right. So you remember that scene in Boys in the Hood when the guy who lost his bike ran off from Krewe? Those guys.
You talking about Friday?
Friday.
Yeah. He gonna cry in the car.
He was crying. That was him crying.
He gonna cry in the car.
Oh, Lord, my bike. I don't know what my daddy gonna say.
My grandma gave me that change.
My grandma. Oh. Anyway, guys. All right.
Somebody seemed like they got an important call.
No, that's the computer. So anyway, we're gonna just disconnected the USB. Anyway, guys, let's talk a little bit more about the Saints. We got to talk about this issue, man. Mark Ingram versus Hightower now. It seems like this is a situation that we have a impatient coach with anyone who puts the football on the ground. Now, Mark Ingram, over his career with the Saints, only lost, 4 fumbles prior to this season? And now 2 games in a row he's lost fumbles. Do you think Sean Payton really gave him a fair evaluation, or do you think it's just time to move on to Hightower, especially how Hightower has been performing? Every time he gets in the game, you can see a different burst to the hole. Or do you just think it's just Sean Payton being Sean Payton?
No, I feel like Hightower is hungry. So let the man eat. Like they say, he high hand. That's like Dak Prescott. That's like Dak Prescott with the Cowboys. Seriously, that Tony Romo comes back available, you gonna put him back in the game? No, you gonna go with the high hand. So if the man and he's hungry, he done came and been cut and came back and all this stuff like that. So the man trying to make sure he secure place. So if he the hot hand and he pushing and he making for yards, great. But this Mark Ingram experiment, when is it gonna end? When is it gonna end? He's probably a great guy, and he was awesome at Alabama. He just ain't. I ain't seen the same level of awesomeness since he came here. And I call him what do I call him? It's something with his feet. It's not fancy feet. Because, like, every time you look around, it's something wrong with his foot or something anyways. So he got, like, ballerina, like, little, like he got little fragile feet. That's what I call him. Because every time you look around, there's something wrong with his feet. There's some kind of foot injury where he's been out. Cause he's been injured a whole lot. But I just haven't seen, like, what we picked him and where we picked him in the draft to come here and play. The same level of play they got out of him at Alabama, I ain't seen that since he been here.
Well, to be fair to Mark, I mean, he has not really worked in a true system where they're going to feature him as the primary running back, especially he's been in a committee from year to year to year. Do you believe that right now in his career, the guy still is in the prime of his career? He's, 27, 28? And you have Hightower's 30, 31, and Hightower has little mileage on his knees as well. I don't know if we can really count on having a Hightower for a full season at this time. I don't say never, but it just is unlikely. I don't think we cast out the baby with the bathwater.
No, I'm not saying we cast out the baby with the bathwater, but the one with the mileage on it seems to be the one that's the most durable. And the baby seems to be accident prone, and the one that's bumping into the table, or every time you look around, is something. So if I haven't. Tim Hightower's been with us 2 seasons? He was with us last year, and they cut him or something like that, and then he came back this year, and they actually picked him up.
Well, he was with us toward the end of the season. Matter of fact, he ended the season on a high note because he was the only running back who had a 100-yard game, and he was the last running back to have a 100-yard game for the season. Right.
So with that being said, like I said, he seemed, even though I understand that, running back, as you get older, the possibility of injury and the mileage and so on and so forth, but at the same time, to say that he's been somewhat, he's just been trying to prove himself even at whatever age he is. He seems to be more durable. I don't remember in the short time that he has been here where it's been a time that he has not been available.
That's a good point. Mark
Ingram has been unavailable more than he's been available, and even though he's been in a run by committee, at the same time, how good is he at actually holding on to the ball?
Well, he hasn't really been a fumble issue. I mean, he had one season where he didn't fumble at all with the Saints. But the availability is a good point because, Professor, you brought this up at the beginning of the season that he has been injured quite frequently. Every year, an injury that Mark Ingram had. Feet.
And the issue with Mark is that his fumbles, when he does fumble, are at crucial times because I can think of 4 games and the Saints lost 3 of them. That's the issue because the Saints could have lost that game Sunday. And as great as the defense played, that fumble, return for a touchdown, 9 times out of 10 teams that get pick sixes or forced fumbles, return for touchdowns, they lose games. Thank goodness the Saints defense played outstanding and Drew and the offense played solid. But that's the issue. The Kansas City game, you take away that fumble, if they're going in for a touchdown, they win the game in Kansas City. 2015, he fumbled in a key game early in the